Hi, welcome to another edition of our Success with People video insights. I am Trevor E.S. Smith, and I'm with the Success with People Academy, and I will be your host today. A frightful discourse. We want to look at the issue of navigating office politics. Oh, well, this is the political season, so why not look at it in the context of the office? But we want to look at it with discernment. So, again, we're looking at navigating office politics with discernment. So, question is, why? No? Why office politics? Well, the reality is that office politics is a real phenomenon. Yes? So if you're saying to you, no, not in my office, not in my organization, well, maybe the practitioners may be so skillful that you may not be aware that office politics is really at play. But let's look at what it is that we're talking about. In a nutshell, office politics is really the informal dynamics, the team dynamics, the collegial dynamics, all of that power dynamics that's at play in the workplace. So really, it is how we navigate our relationships with others, how influence is managed, if we can get to the place where we understand how decisions are really made in the organization. Yes, so we have our nice org chart, and we have all of these layers and policies and procedures. But what really takes place? How are decisions really made? That's where office politics comes in. And so it involves things, and it's not all bad. It involves things like building alliances with colleagues. Yes. So I'm heading a department, you're heading a department, and together we join forces to make things happen. Okay. So others might say that we are joining force because we don't want this third party who is leading another department to get the next promotion. Hey, we don't have to go there. We're just saying we're building alliances for the benefit of the organization. And then also, who has power? Yes, in the organization, we need to get things done. So we need to go to people who can get it done. So that's it. So we need to understand who pulls the strings so that we can influence them. And then there's a whole question then of the undercurrent, the gossip mail or whatever, like informal channels of communication we want to talk about. Informal channels of communication. That's the other part of office politics. We need to understand these things, otherwise you're going to be left out of the loop. We need to know what's going on. Yeah, not everything is coming out in notifications from HR or from leadership. A lot of what's going on is in informal chats. Go into the lunchroom if you want to know what's taking place in the organization. So the other thing would be promoting your ideas. You're there. You want to be successful. You have a plan. You need to promote your ideas. And then see how strategically you can get them to come to fruition. That's part of office politics. So when we're saying politics, it doesn't have to be the divisive, nasty politics that we see outside, but it does involve influence. It does involve understanding others and being able to influence them, tap into power. All of that is part of office politics. And then, of course, we want to succeed. We want to grow. We want to, move up the ladder. And so How do we move up the ladder? We might need to talk to some people who make the decisions. And we might want to invite some of them to, well, maybe not formally mentor us, but at least be there. If you are in the decision-making group, I want you to know, say, hey, Trevor is a good guy. Trevor is a good guy. I need to have somebody who speaks up for me. That's part of office politics. It's not all dirty. But if you want to keep out of it, you might be doing yourself a disservice. So why does it matter? Let me share something with you. This is a study that was published in the Journal of Business Ethics, and it found a positive correlation between emotional intelligence and navigating office politics effectively. What this is saying is that part of your emotional intelligence is going to impact how you navigate office politics. Yeah. So what it suggests is that individuals who understand their emotions and those of others, yes. So if you understand yourself and you understand what's going on with each other, then you can build stronger relationships, you can manage conflict better, and you can navigate complex social situations. Basically, you will be more resilient. And guess what? Resilient is a sought after characteristics today. And so basically then, that's where we go back now to the title, Navigating Office Politics with Discernment. We want to share how our discerning model of communication, yeah, how that impacts the whole question of office politics. How it makes a difference when you can understand yourself, understand others, and learn how to communicate with them in a way that they can buy into what it is that you're saying. That's key. All right. So just some of you might be coming late. I'm not aware of what the discerning model of communication and leadership is about. It's basically taking the DISC framework: dominance, inducement, steadiness, conscientiousness, and building a body of knowledge around that. That's basically what we have spent the last couple of decades actually doing. So we have a whole vast library of texts and books and videos and seminars and courses around the discerning model of communication and leadership. And basically, it identifies 4 fundamental styles. And I like to emphasize that it's not talking about a type of person, that this is who you are, etc. It is saying that we have a bag, 4 massive bags of tools that we use to navigate through life. So one bag is what we call dominance: direct, driven, assertive, result-oriented. So in that bag of tools, you will find things that relate to efficiency, getting things done, speed, making sure that I'm in control, making sure that things happen. So that's the dominance, that's the D-style bag. The second set of tools are found in the influence bag. We call it the I style. Here, individuals who use this bag, and we all, by the way, go into all the 4 bags at some point in time, but people who have a preference for this bag of tools, the I style bag of tools, come across as being enthusiastic, optimistic, creative, innovative, and very focused on relationships. Basically, together we can achieve a lot. So connections matter. And so they actually excel at building rapport and influencing others. The other bag of tool, the steadiness bag of tool, the S style, here lies milk of human kindness. Let's all get together, unity, teamwork. So the reliability is here, very detailed, process driven, and one stability, harmony, peace, unity. That's the S style bag of behavioral tools. The C style, conscientiousness bag of behavioral tools, involves analysis, logic, accountability, structure, systems, data, yes, evidence-based. So in this bag of tools, people who have a preference for it will value precision, will value compliance, will want you to be logical in your communication. So those are the 4 bags of behavioral tools. So by understanding your style, and we strongly recommend, let us go straight up front there and say to you that yes, we are franchise holders for the extended DISC solutions on the Revolutionary Things platform. So we do recommend that you get your personal behavioral DNA assessment. Helps you to understand where you're coming from and how to relate to others. And the assessment reports actually come with tips as well as to how to relate to others from your preferred behavioral style. And so if you do that, you're going to find that your communication is improving. You're going to find that you have enhanced relationship with others, and you are better able to navigate through tricky situations. All right. So we want to look at the 4 bags of tools, the 4 behavioral perspectives, and to see how they approach office politics. Getting on the underbelly of the politics here. And also, we will also talk about the pitfalls and how they can do course correction. So we're going to do that for the 4 styles. So the D-style attitudes towards office politics is that the goal is to win. Straight up. The goal is to win. Why? Because winners get to call the shots. Winners control the resources. Winners shape the values, the vision, and the objectives. So why would I not want to win? It's so simple. So losers get to follow, winners get to lead. So that's a basic fundamental principle there. And don't want to go off now to say win at all costs. I haven't said that. I'm only saying that winning is the goal. Because when you win, you get to call the shots. Clear. Right? So individuals who have a preference for the D style value getting things done quickly. And so yeah, they may be impatient with colleagues who they consider to be slowing down the process. So that's basically what is happening. A lot of the fuss comes about the discussion about how they speak to people and how they approach things and how assertive, when people don't call it assertive, they call it domineering and so on. So all of that is part of the mix that goes into this style and office politics. Yeah. All right. So when I look at the pitfalls, then what are some of the challenges that an approach, someone who has a preference for the D style could introduce into the office politics? One is that they can come across as domineering, as I just mentioned, or as aggressive. And that might alienate colleagues who prefer to be more, collaborative. That the S style would want people to speak to them in a different tone than the D style might want to. Yeah. And also, they want bottom line things. They're not very focused on a lot of details or wanting to hear all the perspectives. The D style has a sense that their gut is good and their experience is good. So they want to back themselves to make the right calls. Whereas others want to go over it and a 3rd time and a 4th time. And they are saying, hey, this is a waste of time. I need to move on. So that's part of the dynamic that comes when someone is using the D style in the work environment. So what are some course corrections for our D style users so that there can be greater harmony in the team? Mindful of the tone. I know you want to be assertive because that's part of the winning formula. Yes, the dog that barks loud and growls, etc., is more likely to command respect than one who doesn't. And so you present your ideas, go ahead, but try not to be as to be overly assertive. Don't, you know, try to tone it down a little bit. Okay. All right. The other thing would be value others. Yes? Value others. Acknowledge their contributions. Let people know that you value what it is that they're bringing to the table. So when they're speaking, listen, 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 and even ask questions about it. Don't, you know, be ready to shut them down. One of the things that it said is that the D-style individual, when others are speaking, it is that they are just preparing to say what it is that they are going to say, you know. So instead of really listening, they are preparing their next statement. That's not healthy. Listen, man. Listen with empathy. All right. And the other thing would be to be open to feedback. Welcome. Have people feel comfortable to come and say, Trevor, you're going in the wrong direction. Trevor, no, this is not right. And don't bother push them off. Listen, right? So have people be willing to come and talk to you about their viewpoints, why they think that you might be off track, etc. That would help the team dynamics. Make sure that the office politics is not as divisive as it appears on the surface. All right. So the other thing now we want to look at is the I style. People who have a preference for that bag of tool that we call influence. Jung actually call it inducement. All right. So what is the I style approach? Attitude towards office politics? Man, the secret is in connections. That's it. Connect, connect, connect. Why? Because with the right connections, it's amazing what we can achieve. Just think about it. Yeah. If you have the right team, you have the right connection, you can call the right person and get it. It's going to happen. And so the I style understands the value. Please, we're not going to be cynical to say that you're just developing the relationships and making the connections in order to, you know, self-aggrandize. We're not saying. And I'm just saying to you is that they understand the benefits. What you're saying actually, there's actually a benefit just in making those connections. You know, it's interesting, it's intriguing to go about, you know, connecting with people and enjoy new experiences. That alone is worth it. But there's value then because you can tap into those connections. People can tap into you, and together amazing things can happen. So the I style, individuals who have a preference for this bag of tools, usually are very good at connecting. You meet them for the very first time, and it's as if you have been friends for a long time. Yes. So they're good at selling ideas as well. They can advocate for themselves, advocate for others, give them an idea, they'll sell it. However, there might be an over-reliance on being able to sell ideas, feeling that, yeah, we can get these people to move on. So, you know, you have an issue, etc. And the feeling is that you can go and talk them out of the problem. Might not always happen because human beings are human beings. And sometimes it's a lot more sticky than, you know, conversation and talking, right? And also, in a similar vein, they might actually underestimate how difficult and how complex a particular situation is. Let us feel that, yeah, man, give me a chance at it. And I can, you know, probably talk them through. Might not always happen. All right. What are the pitfalls for those who have a preference for the I style? Well, individuals with a preference for the I style, sometimes because they're fun-oriented, right? They just believe that life is beautiful. And we must show it, you know, with a smile on the face, a little humor here, etc. It's just part of that toolkit. And so sometimes it might appear, let us give you a specific example, is that you might be calling for a reprimand, a disciplinary hearing, and the I style individual will go in and, you know, say things that are regarded maybe as being flippant in the context, but they just want to, why are we so serious? You know, I can listen to you, you know, I can give a joke and still hear what you're saying. but it might come across that the gravity of certain situations is being missed. And this might actually, and you hear it many times, this might actually cause leadership personnel to say, hey, Trevor is not a serious person. We can't give him this promotion because he's not serious. He's always joking. And that actually does negatively impact the career advancements of some individuals. I led a workshop, this is a long time now, where the CEO said I would never knowingly employ somebody who has a preference for the eye style. Crazy, crazy. Whereas in some of the most competitive countries, that's the behavior that they're looking for. That's where your iPhone comes from. That's where a lot of this creativity and innovation, that's where it's coming from. So we need to lighten up. All right, but if you're an iStyle user, you have a preference for the iStyle, here are some things that I'm suggesting to you in terms of your course correction, because what we're looking at here, we're looking at your growth, we're looking at making sure that the team dynamics function a little better. Deliver, okay? I know part of the challenge that you have is a multiplicity of goals. In other words, you like variety, so you want to deal with different things. You don't want to be bugged with one thing. However, deliver on the things that your boss or your leaders want, right? I hear you that innovation is key, diversity and variety is key, but make sure that you deliver on what is important to your boss and let them know. Let them know. Keep on, sell the idea that yes, you are delivering. Make sure that people know that amidst all of the things that they might think about you, you're delivering. Don't watch my joking. Don't watch my whatever it is. Watch my performance. That's the message that you need to do. All right. And so, having said that, though, sometimes you need to tone down the phone. You know, yeah, there are certain circumstances. Maybe just kind of keep it down a little bit. And that's not the suggestion. I think you know what I'm saying. But I also know at the same time, I want you to channel your creativity. Right now, innovation is in high demand. Push that. Continue to be creative. Continue to be innovative. Right? But when you're doing it, show the practical application of it. Yeah? Show how this can impact the bottom line. Show how this can actually increase revenue or make things better. That's where we want to go. So those are your instincts. Double down, double down. All right. Moving along. S-style. What is S-style approach? So steadiness, right? Remember, very people-oriented, inward-looking, reserved. That's the S-style. Milk of human kindness flowing through his veins. And the S-style approach to office politics is this. Why does politics have to be so divisive? Man, listen, we might not agree on everything, but at least let us respect each other's views. Yeah? Why we can work towards consensus? What's the big rush? And by the way, when you tell Trevor that his idea is worthless, what does that say about him? Is he less intelligent, less valuable? So you have to be careful then about our communication. So when we shut down others and throw out their ideas, we're sending a message to them, you know. We're sending a message to them. And this whole thing about, okay, let's quit, let us put it to the vote. So when you vote me out, what about me? What about me? Yes? No, man, let us spend the time and work through things. See if we can come to a consensus. Because if you value Trevor as a member of the team, you should value his input. Why is he objecting? Is he just objecting for objecting's sake? No. He genuinely has an idea. He thinks that this is flawed. He thinks that we can improve the decision. So listen and let us spend a little bit more time. What's the rush? What's the rush? So we need to reflect on the fact that we are supposed to be a part of the same thing, working towards the same goals. So when we denigrate Trevor now and say, boy, listen to me, you know, you come back with that again, Trevor, foolishness, man. Or if we just ignore him, he's putting up his hand and we're not even paying him the mind. It's going to impact unity because Trevor is going to feel, I'm not a part of this. Yeah. So when we make the decision, I wasn't a part of it. I thought that this was wrong, so I'm going to drag my feet. So, big question in office politics style with us is, can we all just get along? Can we just listen a little bit more? Can we go after consensus a little bit more? And then pitfalls then. All the styles have pitfalls. Not better, not worse, just different. So that's a little mantra that we use in discerning communication model. Not better, not worse, just different. All of the styles have downsides. All of the styles have upsides. All right. So the individuals have a preference for a style. I tell you, can be a little politically naive. I don't want to put any negative, but just understand where I'm going. So they kind of accept things. They're not as suspicious. They're not pushy, and they probably want to go along with the tide. But that might limit their proactivity in terms of being engaged, influencing in decisions, shaping the vision. And so they might take a back seat and sort of wait to be led. I'm not the leader, so let me hear what the leadership has to say. That is okay, because one of the challenges that I have seen in life is that there's a crisis in followership, that people don't want to follow. So there is a crisis in followership, not as much as in leadership. But having said that, we need to be active in our followership role. All right. So what are some of the corrective measures that our C-style users can do? Let your voice be heard. Speak up, man. I've been in too many workshop situations where people tip up, after the workshop to say, I wanted to say this, I wanted to say that. And also in team meetings, having to pull people to get something out of them. And it's great value. Yes, great value. So that's where we want to go. We want to ask us style individuals, speak up when it matters. Share your ideas just as bright as anybody else. So be alert also. Be wise. Be wise. Be wise. Be aware that not everybody has good intention. Not everything, every movement, every idea is a good idea. So you need to be careful to observe the prevailing dynamics, and to make sure that you stand up for your values. Yeah, don't get carried away. Don't go with the drift. And then also be flexible. Yeah. So we're in a very fast-paced environment. We don't have the time always to go back over things and to explain it for a third time and to answer some of the nagging questions that are there. We just have to be more adaptable. And that's a suggestion that I have. Adaptability is an asset in this time. Okay, now we move to our C-style colleagues. What is the C-style attitude towards office politics? Let me just say something to you. You have to be strategic. You have to be strategic. You can't just rush into things. Yeah. You have to carefully calibrate every decision. Every decision needs to be carefully calibrated. You know why? Because you can make a mistake. You know how many people make a mistake? You just look at politics outside in the world, where things coming back to haunt you. As a teenager or as a young man, I did this, and people are going back to that record to say, yes, this is who you are. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful. Wrong moves are hard to correct and can come back to harm you later. So consequently, be very careful before you open your mouth. Think. Before you take any actions, think. Yeah. So that's part of the style attitude to politics, office politics. They're not rushing into conversation. They're not rushing to give comments on this or that. Wait, think it through, wait up before you actually open up your mouth and say anything. And critically, information is power. You have to understand that. Information is power. So one of the things you have to do is observe. Observe. Use your eyes. Use your ears. Monitor what's going on. And then, equally important, document it. Keep your records going so that you can go back and appeal to your records, because evidence, data, evidence is king. And that's what the C style brings to the office politics. Strategic. So, what are potential pitfalls as we look forward? The role of the C style in office politics. Well, individuals with a preference for the C style, they can come across as kind of, I don't want to use the word, but I'm going to, standoffish, that you want to. They want the space. They want the privacy. And really and truly, and this is a statement that has been made, I am not here to win friends, I have friends already. I'm here to do the people's work. I'm not here to win friends. So there's not an urgency to develop close relationships in the workplace. So that's part of the C style. So, however, that might negatively impact team dynamics and even keep them on the periphery of group activity. So you have a TGIF and Trevor is never there, because that's not me. All right. So those are some of the things that you have to look at. What are course correction moves for persons who have a preference for the C style? Be more open, honestly. You have to be more open. In this day and age, professionalism demands a higher level of openness. This closed shop thing can't work anymore. People want transparency to some extent. I'm not telling you you have to read out all of your privacy and invite everybody to your home, but there are things that need now more openness. In order for people to trust you and to work closely with you, they want you to open up a little bit more. And then networking. And guess what, friend? Networking is a critical competence in this time. If you want to climb up the ladder, or to be highly successful as a leader, you have to network. You have to connect with people. So this alone, where everybody else is in the lunchroom and you can't be found, that has to stop. You have to connect with people if you're going to be highly successful. And then you have to be more trusting, because trust is the glue that holds the team together. Yes? And you have to be a part of that. If you are so suspicious of everybody, then you're going to sow a bad seed. So you need, really, to start to trust. Right? So now, I want to look at case studies in office politics. Right? I'll give 2 case studies, 2 scenarios, just to show you how, by using the discerning part of communication and leadership, we could make a difference in a situation that could otherwise be problematic. So let us assume now we have the C-style manager prepare a well-documented project document, right? Want to improve a particular process, and she goes to her D-style manager with the idea, starting to talk about it, but the D-style manager is kind of putting it, don't really want to hear it. And so there's a potential frustration arising, because this is a lot of work that has gone into preparing this document, preparing this whole project document and all of the processes, and for it to be just dismissed out of hand. Yeah, it's frustrating. So what are some of the approaches? One approach is to say to individuals, and that's a term we use, like raise your D. What that means is that go into that toolkit some more. So you might come in from whatever toolkit, and we are saying, in this instance, using this bag of tools is helpful in the situation. That's what we mean by raising your D, or raising your I, or raising your S, or raising your C. It just means go to that bag of tools and look for solutions there. So you're suggesting then that the manager goes to the D bag of tools and set up a meeting. I'd like to have a one-on-one meeting with you. And in that meeting, she briefly presents the idea again. But in this presentation, it is about bottom line. Here are the outcomes. This is what we're going to achieve. These are the savings that will result from the process change. And speak clearly, assertively, but also focus on what would constitute winning for your manager. What are his priorities? What is important to him? Speak to those points, but be clear, concise, and assertive. Be confident when you're speaking. All right? That's one approach. You could also go into the bag with S and I. And you can, by the way, you don't have to use tools by themselves. You can combine them. So you're going to use S and I. And what the S and I approach would be is that before the meeting, go around to your colleagues and sell them the idea. Talk to them about it. Show them how it can improve the process. And especially those who work closely with your manager who might know it, find out what would constitute a solution. How do I best communicate with this individual? And so once you get their feedback, then you can actually prepare and also get their permission. Ask them, is it okay for me to say that I have discussed it with my colleagues and they are on board? That would help. So that's one approach now, rather than walk away seething that you have done all of this work and it's about to be thrown out. All right? Let's look at scenario number 2, another one where, again, this could cause problems in the organization, office politics at work. So let's just look at this. So Carmen is spreading negativity about a project. So you are the project leader and you get feedback that Carmen is around the place saying all sorts of bad things about the project. Now, Carmen has a preference for the C style. And apparently she's not convinced about the viability of your project. What can you do apart from sieve? Right? I'm going to get into trouble with this one, okay? I'm sorry. But let us start with one of them that's peaceful. So what kind of approach could you use if you're using the discerning model of communication? Again, we would guide you now to go to the C bag of tools. Go to the C behavioral toolkit. Going to schedule a private conversation with Carmen. When you go into the conversation, you're not just dumping information, you're asking Carmen, so what are your concerns? As she outlines her concerns, you ask clarifying questions to understand her perspective, genuinely seeking to understand where she's coming from. Of course, you are armed with a whole bag of data and evidence to show the viability of your project, but you're waiting until she has shared this. Then you unfold. Then you could say, okay, Carmen, I hear you and I understand your concern. Would you like to consider this? Bam, this, bam, this. So that's basically the idea, is that you would actually then seek to overwhelm her or change her mind on the basis of evidence that you present. Warning, danger, okay? So there's another approach, and I'm not advocating it. This is only a situation where nothing else can work, where Carmen is absolutely dead stubborn and refuse to be listening. So you meet with Carmen and you just call her over. Carmen, I understand that you have been saying all of these things about the project. Yeah. I want to hear what are your objections, because you have never come to me to discuss it. You have never shared these things with me. So I'm giving you the opportunity now to share with me face to face here, as against, sorry, we don't have to say as against, share with me here face to face. What are your concerns? What are your situations? And to see really and truly how we can actually address the issues, the concerns that you have. So that's an approach, a more direct approach where we are saying, hey, let's bring the things out of the shadows and talk one-on-one here. All right, so that's basically what it is. We don't like to be here long, so I'm going to wrap it down. Just tell you a little bit about us. We are Success with People Academy. We are part of the InfoServe group of companies. We deploy, as it says on the screen, our DISCernment model of communication and leadership, which basically is taking Jung's, DISC classification, DISC, dominance, influence, tendency, conscientiousness, and building a whole body of knowledge around that. And then we use that body of knowledge to work with individuals, teams, and organizations. We do a whole lot of stuff in terms of team building, leadership, customer service, negotiation, all sorts of different work. Right now, we're pretty much focused on teams and the team leadership. And we also then use behavioral assessments from Extended DISC and the Revolutionary Things platform to enhance the work that we do, so people can help to understand themselves a lot better. The research that we shared earlier talked about emotional intelligence, understanding yourself and understanding others. That's the work that we do. And so we also are a technology boutique. We have a lot of, well, not a lot, but have some key technology solutions that we infuse to help organizations to function better. One of the things that we have is this Spike technology platform where we have built into it e-competency framework 2.0. So it's a competency framework that acts as a hub for recruitment and selection, onboarding, also learning and development, succession planning, performance management, performance appraisal. So that system, that's where it is. So we're not doing payroll and so on, but that system actually acts as that hub to drive those functions in an organization. But like to talk to you a little bit, if you send me an email at info@successwithpeople.org, info@successwithpeople.org. We also put a lot of content out in the marketplace. For years, we have been putting content out. Just want to suggest to you that you can access them. These insights, the Success with People insights, are available on YouTube. If you go to Extended DISC Solutions, Extended DISC Solutions /videos, you will see a slew of these webinars, seminars on our YouTube channel. We also have a LinkedIn group, Leadership DNA Club, where you get rich content. Believe me, we don't open the doors to everybody. So the content that is there is not advertising. It's good, rich content. So if you just go to the LinkedIn, ask for me to let you in, and I will do so. And you can access a lot of content. And of course, the newsletters, the Success with People newsletters are also available on LinkedIn. I want to thank you for your time and see you next time.